thank you for joining us for the Essence of the Week for July 14th, 2013. I am the light. The light is surrounding me. The light is transforming me. The light is protecting me. Divine love is flowing around and through me, solving and dissolving all situations for the good of all. The higher power is in charge of my life, and only good can come through me. My mind is open, my heart is receptive, and miracles are happening right now. I consciously choose to raise my vibration to a place of truth and light. Yes, well, you know, the channel has chosen this week to speak about responsibility, which is a responsibility in and of itself, to speak about this, which is so valued and so revered and so misunderstood by most of humankind. What is responsibility? Well, it is described as the ability to respond. To respond to what? To respond to a situation, to respond to a plea for help, to respond to the call of one's soul. We want to make it clear to you that that is your first responsibility, to listen to your own soul speaking to you, to listen to your own higher self, to listen to your connection with the One, with the universe, with the All, with God, if you choose to use that name. Because that is your first and primary responsibility. Where you get into problems, most of you, is when you begin to think that rather than listening to God, you are God. Well, that's true, you are. But we would not suggest that you begin to behave as you think God should behave when you feel a responsibility to something. For most of you, responsibility means service, sacrifice, putting someone else in front of your own desires or needs. And that's not it at all. Responsibility, like everything else, is all about intention. And so we invite you, we implore you, we beg you, we advise you. When you feel a responsibility to do something, or a responsibility to show someone where they went wrong, or what they should do, when you take on that responsibility for someone else's choices, and someone else's process, and someone else's life, you are not behaving as God. In fact, you are misusing the power that you have. And the reason we choose to speak to you about responsibility now is because all of you have available to you more power than ever you imagined before. And therefore it is important that you stop and think, what am I going to use this new energy? What am I going to use this new power to create? How am I going to use it to impact people? The saying, absolute power corrupts absolutely, is only true when you forget where that power comes from and what it's been given to you for. It's been given to you to create, not to dominate. Intention, intention, intention. How many of you are wise enough when you see a picture on your television of a starving child to think, I will send this child love as I'm writing a check? Because we tell you this, what that child needs is love. And how many of you are far enough advanced to see this and say, ah, thank you to this child for reminding me of what I have and what I have been given, and that there is an abundance in the universe, and that part of the reason I'm here is to share that. Now, the extreme of that is to go to the place where you say, the world is evil, there are evil people because they don't share with that child. And so it is my job, I have a responsibility to change the world so that the evil people are forced to share their food with that child. Force is motivated by fear. You ask yourself, why does God allow all of this to happen in the world? So that you can learn from it and sort it out and understand it. Forcing someone to share, forcing someone to give is just force. This is where the rubber hits the road, people, when you have this new energy and this new power and this new ability. It is more important than ever that you look at your intention. What is my responsibility? My responsibility is to fulfill my purpose. What is my purpose? Quote, you all have the same purpose. It is to be a physical manifestation of love. And so when you see a starving child, or you see a rich man who you think should be forced to share his riches, you look at each of them and you say, what would love do in this place? Love would feed the child from your own abundance, and love would educate the Pharisee as to what his purpose is. Your responsibility is to be love in every place that love is missing. Not just in those places where you think people deserve love. And that's the responsibility. And it begins with loving yourself, as always. You cannot love others more than you love yourself. And so starving yourself to feed someone else is not love. Self-sacrifice is still sacrifice. And as we've said, that's very Old Testament. Service is different from sacrifice. Yes, there are instances where someone will lay down their life for someone else. And that is a process, and that is a choice. And in many cases, it's a good choice. But those of you who are cutting yourself into little pieces and giving yourself away every day by making everyone else in your life more important than you are, that's not service. That's sacrifice. And so we say to you, responsibility is a vast quagmire, an opportunity for you to come from all different perspectives. And so we bring it down to the very basic. What is your responsibility? To love your neighbor as yourself. And as we have said, it starts with loving yourself. To give from your abundance, not from your guilt. To love where you see love lacking. The more someone seems to you to be a completely lost and horrible person, the more is the cry for love in that place. It's easy to love your neighbor if he looks just like you, talks just like you, thinks just like you. This is about loving your neighbor, whoever he is, whatever he looks like, no matter how nasty and mean he may be, and understanding that he is in your life as a mirror to you. Your responsibility is to remember again and again and again that there is no one that you meet on the street who is a victim. There is no one that you meet on the street who is a villain. They are all souls needing to be loved, just as you are. And so your responsibility is to love and to make sure that your actions are coming from an intention of love. We have a feeling that as this year progresses, and more of you become aware of how much power there is available to you now, we will most likely revisit this subject. But for now, we will close.